I never thought a day would come when my own son would avoid my eyes. He used to run to me when he was little, with his small arms open wide, shouting, "Mama," like I was the whole world. I still remember the way his tiny fingers would wrap around my thumb, trusting me completely. Back then, every problem felt small as long as he was holding on to me. But life changes quietly, like a door closing softly behind you. The day he asked me to leave his home, I didn't cry, I didn't argue, I didn't even ask why. I just smiled, a small, tired smile. The kind you give when your heart understands something your mind hasn't caught up with yet. It happened after she spoke to him alone, his wife. A young woman I welcomed with open arms. A woman I believed would make my son's life better. A woman I tried so hard to love, even when I felt her pulling him away from me, inch by inch, moment by moment. That afternoon, when I heard their voices behind the closed kitchen door, my hands shook as I folded the laundry. I couldn't hear the words, but I felt the distance forming like a wall. A moment later, he stepped out. His face was stiff. His eyes wouldn't stay on mine. "Mom, maybe it's better if you stay somewhere else for a while." Just like that. 28 years of motherhood. 28 years of loving him more than myself. 28 years of sacrifice. All reduced to a single sentence. And the strange thing is, I wasn't angry. There was no storm inside me. No loud heartbreak. Only a soft ache, the kind that sits deep in your chest and breathes slowly. I nodded. I folded my sweater. I placed it in my bag. And I walked out of the home I helped him build. But what hurt the most wasn't that he asked me to leave. It was the way he didn't look back, not even once. At that moment, I realized something I never thought I'd have to face. I raised him with love. But she taught him how to forget me. And this is the story of how it happened. I was 23 when I had my son. He came into the world on a rainy Sunday morning, wrapped in a blanket the hospital nurse rushed to bring because the delivery room felt too cold. His first cry was soft, almost hesitant, like he was trying to figure out this new world. When the nurse placed him in my arms, something inside me changed forever. I wasn't just a young woman anymore. I was a mother. From the start, it was just the two of us. I remember sitting on the edge of the bed that night, staring at the small lamp on my nightstand. Its warm yellow glow touched only half the room, leaving the other half in soft darkness. It reminded me of how my life felt, half in the light of memories, half in the shadows of what I could not control. I kept asking myself the same quiet question: where did things begin to change? Mothers always blame themselves first. I was no different. Maybe it was when Daniel got married. Maybe it was when he moved into her home, not ours. Maybe it was when they started making decisions together, decisions that slowly erased the place I once held in his life. Or maybe it was much earlier, in the tiny silent moments I didn't notice at the time. Moments like when he stopped calling me Mom, and began using my name. At first, it sounded sweet. Almost playful. "Linda, did you eat? Linda, I'll come on Sunday." But over time, it didn't feel playful anymore. It felt distant, like someone quietly closing a door without letting it slam. I tried not to think too much of it. Young couples have their own lives, their own routines, their own bubble. I knew that. I respected that. But still, a mother knows. A mother feels. A mother hears the silence louder than the words. And something inside me whispered that the silence between my son and me was growing. A small incident that should not have hurt. But did. It was a Sunday afternoon. I had cooked Daniel's favorite meal, gently spiced chicken stew, the way I used to make when he had exams in high school. I still remembered how he came into the kitchen back then, sniffing the air dramatically. "Mom, if love had a smell, it would smell like this," he used to say. But that Sunday, the pot remained untouched on the stove. He called 30 minutes before he was meant to arrive. Was a Sunday afternoon. I had cooked Daniel's favorite meal, gently spiced chicken stew, the way I used to make when he had exams in high school. I still remembered how he came into the kitchen back then, sniffing the air dramatically. "Mom, if love had a smell, it would smell like this," he used to say. But that Sunday, the pot remained untouched on the stove. He called 30 minutes before he was meant to arrive. "Mom, we're not coming today. She's tired." His voice was flat, like he had rehearsed the line. I swallowed the disappointment. "It's okay, sweetheart. I understand." But I didn't really understand. She was tired, but I had been tired for years while raising him alone. Yet I never once failed to show up for him. I turned off the stove. My small kitchen fell quiet. These little things, tiny excuses, shifted plans, short calls, were adding up like pebbles in my heart. Individually they were nothing, but together they started to weigh me down. Still, I never blamed her. I told myself she was new to the family. Maybe she was shy, maybe she felt insecure, maybe she needed time. But then came the day I can never forget. The day that gently, quietly, broke something inside me. The day she spoke to him alone. I was visiting them, not announced, but not uninvited. Daniel always said, "Mom, you can come anytime." So I came, with a small box of homemade cookies. She opened the door. Her expression was polite, but not warm. "Oh," she said, "you didn't call." "I should have," I replied softly. "I'm sorry." Daniel wasn't home yet, so I waited in the living room. Everything felt perfect, too perfect. Like a model home staged for visitors, no family. Photos, no warmth, nothing that hinted I was part of Daniel's story. When he finally arrived, he smiled at me, but it was brief, distracted. They went into the kitchen, just for a minute. I heard their voices, not the words, just the tones. Hers was sharp, firm, insistent. His was softer, defensive, then resigned. When they came back out, Daniel would not meet my eyes. And then he said the words that still echo inside me. "Mom, maybe you should give us some space. Maybe don't come by without calling." He spoke gently, almost apologetically, but the words felt heavy, foreign, unnatural. Those were not my son's words. Those were words taught to him. I felt something inside me shift, not a break, but a quiet fall. Like a leaf letting go from a branch. I smiled, even though it hurt. "I understand," I said. But I didn't understand. And later that night, alone in my home, I whispered into the silence. Is this how a mother becomes a guest in her child's life? The conflict in my home did not arrive like a storm. It came quietly, like a slow change in the weather. At first, I did not even notice it. Or maybe I didn't want to notice it. Every morning, I tried to move gently around their home, telling myself it was only temporary. I reminded myself that I was a guest, not the owner. But small moments kept piling up, one on top of another, until they no longer felt small anymore. It began with silence. One morning, I walked into the kitchen. My daughter-in-law, Emily, was making breakfast. She didn't look up. She didn't smile. She just kept moving her spoon in the pan like I wasn't standing right there. "Good morning," I said softly. A short pause. Then a quick, "morning," without turning my way. I told myself she was tired. Maybe she didn't sleep well. But that morning became another, and then another. And slowly, the kitchen no longer felt like a warm place. It felt like I was crossing a room full of invisible glass. The next change came in my son. Daniel used to talk to me every night when he returned from work. He would sit next to me, ask how my day went, and tell me about the office. But now, he barely sat down before Emily called him to the bedroom. "Can we talk?" I asked one evening, gently touching his arm. "Later, Mom," he said, without looking at me. "I'm tired." He wasn't rude, but he was distant, like my presence made the air heavier, even if I didn't understand why. I would sit alone in my room and listen to the muffled sounds of their conversation, her voice rising softly, his answering quietly. I could never make out the words, but the tone. The tone felt like I was being discussed. Little things around the house started to change too. One afternoon, the towels I usually used were moved. Another day, my shoes were moved from the entrance to the storage closet without anyone telling me. Then my food containers disappeared into different cabinets. It almost felt like the house itself was trying to push me out. Or maybe someone wanted me to feel like a visitor who stayed too long. Another day, my shoes were moved from the entrance to the storage closet without anyone telling me. Then my food containers disappeared into different cabinets. It almost felt like the house itself was trying to push me out. Or maybe someone wanted me to feel like a visitor who stayed too long. The first time I heard Emily sigh because of me, it broke something inside. I was washing a few plates after lunch. Just minding my own quiet space. She walked in, saw me, and paused at the doorway. Another sigh, soft, but sharp enough that it felt like a blade sliding under my skin. "I can handle that," she said, her voice stretched tight. "It's okay," I replied. "I don't mind helping." She didn't respond. She simply walked out, and I stayed there with wet hands, telling myself I didn't imagine it. But I did feel it. And feelings don't lie. Weeks passed. My heart kept growing heavier. When we sat together at the dinner table, Emily barely spoke to me. Daniel tried to keep the conversation floating, but the air felt strained. Every answer Emily gave him came with a careful tone, the kind people use when they feel watched. One night, when she thought I wasn't looking, she gently moved her chair an inch away from mine. As if even our elbows brushing accidentally would inconvenience her. I looked down at my plate and whispered to myself, "It's okay. I'm only here for a short time," but the truth was, it wasn't okay. I missed being in my own home. I missed being needed. I missed being welcomed. The turning point began forming long before I saw it coming. One evening, their voices rose louder than usual behind their bedroom door. Not shouting, but tense, firm, controlled. Emily said something in a low, sharp tone I couldn't understand. Then Daniel responded, sounding tired. Defeated. I sat on the couch, hands clasped, staring at the quiet hallway. After a long moment, the door opened. Emily walked out first. Her eyes met mine briefly, just a flicker. Then she walked away, cold and silent. Daniel came out later, but he wouldn't look at me. His shoulders were tense. His face was pale. He sat beside me for a moment, rubbing his forehead. "Everything okay?" I asked softly. He didn't answer. He just stood up again and said he needed air. That night, sleep would not come. I kept replaying their voices behind the door, wondering what was said about me, and why my presence created such tension. The house no longer felt like a home. It felt like a hallway I was slowly being pushed toward, piece by piece, step by step, until eventually, there would be only one place left for me to go. The door. And deep down, I think I already knew. I remember the exact afternoon when everything shifted. It was a quiet Sunday, the kind of day that usually feels warm and familiar. But that day felt different the moment I woke up, like the house was holding its breath. I heard soft voices in the. I remember the exact afternoon when everything shifted. It was a quiet Sunday, the kind of day that usually feels warm and familiar. But that day felt different the moment I woke up, like the house was holding its breath. I heard soft voices in the living room. My son's voice, her voice, low, tense, almost like they were afraid someone would hear, someone like me. I didn't mean to listen. I didn't even walk closer. I just stood still in the hallway, frozen, because a single sentence reached me like a cold gust of wind. "Your mother needs to go, Daniel. She's affecting our marriage." My breath left my body. For a moment, I wasn't in that hallway anymore. I was back in time, back to when Daniel was a little boy holding my hand, back when I worked extra shifts to buy him his first backpack, back when I packed his school lunches with little handwritten notes in them. How could I be a burden now? I heard my son sigh, tired, heavy. "Can we talk about this later?" he asked her. But she didn't let it go. "No, you have to choose, us, or her." The silence that followed was sharp. Painful. I expected him to defend me. Not angrily, not loudly, just something small. Something gentle. Something that said he remembered who I was to him. Instead, he spoke in a voice I had never heard from him before, flat, worn, almost defeated. "I'll talk to her." Just 6 words. But those 6 words pulled the ground from under me. I stepped back quickly, afraid they'd see me, afraid they'd know I heard everything. My heart felt tight, like it forgot how to beat for a few seconds. I sat on the edge of my bed and stared at my hands. Hands that had cooked for him, cleaned for him, prayed for him, wiped his tears, held him when he was sick. Hands that no longer felt needed. A few minutes later, he knocked gently on my door. "Mom? Can we talk?" His voice was soft. Too soft. The kind of softness people use when they're about to hurt you but don't want to feel guilty. "Of course," I said, pretending. Nothing was wrong. He sat across from me, unable to meet my eyes. His fingers kept tapping on his knee, a habit he had since childhood when he was nervous. "Mom, you know we love you, right?" he began. That word, "we," made my chest tighten again. There was no we in this conversation. Only him, only me, and the distance growing between us. I think, maybe it's time you stayed somewhere else for a little while, he said. He didn't look up. He didn't see the way my face fell. He didn't see how my throat tightened. He didn't see the tears that I forced back because I didn't want him to remember me as someone weak. Oh, I whispered. It was the only sound I could make. I just want peace in the house, he continued. I need to keep my marriage stable. You understand, don't you? He asked the question with his eyes finally meeting mine, eyes that used to shine with innocence but now carried uncertainty, fear, and influence from someone who did not love me the way I loved him. All I could do was nod. Because saying anything else would have broken me. Inside, though, something cracked, quietly, slowly, but painfully. A realization rose in my chest like a cold wave. I raised him with love, but someone else had taught him to forget me. I smiled, even though it hurt. When do you want me to leave? I asked. He exhaled with relief, relief that felt like a knife. Maybe by next week, he said. Next week. 7 days to pack up a lifetime. 7 days to become a guest in the life I had built for him. He stood up, leaned forward, and kissed my forehead like he used to. Thank you for understanding, Mom. But all I understood was that the boy I loved, protected, and sacrificed for, was no longer mine. Something in the air changed that day. Something in me changed too. And nothing, absolutely nothing, was ever the same again. I sat alone in the quiet guest room that night, listening to the soft hum of the house. It was strange how a place could feel familiar and foreign at the same time. I had spent so many years imagining what my son's adult life would look like, and yet I never imagined this part. The distance, the careful tone in his voice, the hesitations that never existed before. I kept thinking about every little moment that brought us here. Not with anger, not even with blame, just sadness. A soft kind that settles inside you like dust, barely visible but always present the next morning. I woke before anyone else. Old habits, I guess. I made tea the way I always did at home, slowly, letting the steam rise, warming my hands on the cup. When my son walked in, he looked surprised to see me awake. He gave a small smile. Mom, you're up early. I always am, I said gently. For a moment, there was silence. Not uncomfortable, but full of unspoken things. I took a breath. I think we should talk, I said softly. He nodded, almost like he'd been waiting for those words but didn't know how to ask. We sat at the kitchen table, the same kind of table I once fed him at, the same kind I used to wipe down after he made a mess with crayons or cereal. Funny how life circles back in small ways. Son, I began, I don't want you to feel torn between me and her. That's not why I came. He lowered his eyes. Mom, I don't know how to balance everything. I don't want to cause problems. I know, I whispered. And I understand that your wife is a part of your life, your future, the way I once was in your everyday world. He swallowed hard. She feels like, sometimes you judge her. And I don't think you mean to, but it feels that way to her. It took me a moment. My chest tightened, but I stayed calm. I'm sorry she felt that way, I said, slowly, honestly. That was never my intention. I don't want her to feel threatened by me. I don't want to be the reason your home feels heavy. He finally looked at me, really looked at me, the way he used to when he was young, when he was trying to understand something important. I don't want you to feel pushed out, he said, voice soft. I know, I replied. But maybe I need to give both of you some space. Not because I'm unwanted, but because you're building something new. Something that belongs to the two of you. He nodded, eyes glistening. Mom, I love you. I never want you to think I forgot everything you did for me. I reached across the table and held his hand. His hands were bigger now, stronger, but to me, they were still the same hands I held when teaching him to walk. You didn't forget, I said gently. Life just asked you to grow. And I have to grow too, in a different way. We sat there in silence, but it wasn't the cold silence from before. This one felt warm, healing, like something broken had been stitched back together, maybe not perfectly, but enough. Later that day, his wife joined us in the living room. She looked nervous, almost apologetic. I gave her a small smile, letting her know she didn't need to be afraid of me. I just want you both to be happy, I told her quietly. And I want to be part of your life, not as a burden, not as a shadow, but as family." She nodded, eyes softening. "I want that too," she whispered. It wasn't a dramatic reconciliation. No tears, no embraces, no sudden transformation. Just soft understanding, the kind that grows slowly, like morning light creeping through curtains. Before I left, my son walked me to the car. He hugged me tighter than he had in years. "Come visit again soon," he said. "I will," I answered. "But this time, I'll let you invite me." He laughed quietly, a sound I had missed. And as I drove away, I realized something important. I wasn't losing him. I was simply learning to love him in a new way, from a respectful distance, from a heart that had learned to accept change without breaking. The world outside looked peaceful, soft sunlight, calm roads, gentle wind. And for the first time in a long time, I felt peaceful too. I moved into a small apartment 2 towns over. Nothing fancy, just a quiet place with warm light and a balcony where I could drink tea in the evenings. A place where no one sighed when I entered a room. A place where my presence wasn't an inconvenience. A place that felt like mine. Some nights, I still think about how everything changed. And even though the memories sometimes sting, I don't regret the love I gave. I don't regret raising him, teaching him, sacrificing for him. Love is never a mistake. It just doesn't always return in the shape we hope. My son visits sometimes. Not often, but enough. He comes without tension in his shoulders now, without someone waiting in the car impatiently. We sit on the little balcony together, looking at the evening sky. He never apologizes fully, but he doesn't need to. The distance taught both of us something important. He learned that love cannot be commanded. And I learned that love cannot be forced. One afternoon, as he was leaving, he hugged me longer than usual. When he pulled away, he said quietly, "I'm trying, Mom." I smiled. That's all anyone can do. As I watched him walk away, a soft wind passed through the balcony plants, and I felt something gentle settle inside me, not victory, not bitterness, but acceptance. Life does not always give us the endings we imagine. Sometimes it gives us something. Morning light creeping through curtains. Before I left, my son walked me to the car. He hugged me tighter than he had in years. "Come visit again soon," he said. "I will," I answered. "But this time, I'll let you invite me." He laughed quietly, a sound I had missed. And as I drove away, I realized something important. I wasn't losing him. I was simply learning to love him in a new way, from a respectful distance, from a heart that had learned to accept change without breaking. The world outside looked peaceful, soft sunlight, calm roads, gentle wind. And for the first time in a long time, I felt peaceful too. I moved into a small apartment 2 towns over. Nothing fancy, just a quiet place with warm light and a balcony where I could drink tea in the evenings. A place where no one sighed when I entered a room. A place where my presence wasn't an inconvenience. A place that felt like mine. Some nights, I still think about how everything changed. And even though the memories sometimes sting, I don't regret the love I gave. I don't regret raising him, teaching him, sacrificing for him. Love is never a mistake. It just doesn't always return in the shape we hope. My son visits sometimes. Not often, but enough. He comes without tension in his shoulders now, without someone waiting in the car impatiently. We sit on the little balcony together, looking at the evening sky. He never apologizes fully, but he doesn't need to. The distance taught both of us something important. He learned that love cannot be commanded. And I learned that love cannot be forced. One afternoon, as he was leaving, he hugged me longer than usual. When he pulled away, he said quietly, "I'm trying, Mom." I smiled. That's all anyone can do. As I watched him walk away, a soft wind passed through the balcony plants, and I felt something gentle settle inside me, not victory, not bitterness, but acceptance. Life does not always give us the endings we imagine. Sometimes it gives us something different, something quieter, something that teaches us how to stand alone without feeling lonely. And maybe that is its own kind of love. I close my eyes now, take a deep breath, and remind myself, I raised him with love. And even if the world taught him to forget, I will never forget who I am, or what my heart still has the strength to hold.